YouTube channel and other social media platforms. We will be happy to take your questions at the end of the seminar. In case of any questions, please feel free to put your questions on chat. I would now like to request Mr. John Rumgul, Consulate General of India, Hamburg, to give his welcome remarks.
Thank you, Rajni. Namaste and good evening. Dr. Rajesh Mishra, President of Shaktya, Bremen, distinguished panelists and guests, ladies and gentlemen. I was in Bremen last Sunday, the 20th of June, for the 7th International Day of Yoga celebrations at Brugge Park, which was organized by Shaktya. And I'm happy to be a part of today's event, which is also organized by Shaktya Bremen, as part of the continuing celebration of International Day of Yoga 2021. Though we are celebrating this year's IDY under the shadow of the COVID pandemic, I was delighted to see that so many enthusiastic participants were there at the event last Sunday and also in today's program. We have a distinguished and well-known experts in the fields of yoga and dance in today's program, including the world-famous Indian classical dancer, Dr. Sonal Mansingh, who is Member of Parliament and the winner of various awards, including the Padma Vibhushan. Also, Mrs. Shovana Narayan, Guru Pandit Rajendra Gangani, Mr. Deodatt Persaud, and Mr. Tomas Bürner, who are all well known in their fields. On behalf of the Consulate General of India in Hamburg, I thank you all for being a part of this program today. We are all looking forward to hearing from you on today's interesting topic of yoga and dance. So I'm going to keep my remarks very short. As we all know, yoga is the ancient Indian art and science of healthy living. It provides a holistic approach to well-being, both physical, mental, and spiritual. The theme for this year's International Day of Yoga is Yoga for Wellness, which is particularly relevant as we fight against the pandemic. Some people see yoga as India's gift to the world, but while others also jokingly call it India's most popular export. But the fact is that yoga is a shared heritage of the whole humankind. It is ancient wisdom with contemporary relevance. In the present fast-paced lifestyle, it has become increasingly popular as a path to wellness and fitness. It's not just stretching and exercises, but also breathing, relaxation, as well as meditation, concentration, and centering of the mind and spirit. It reduces stress and anxiety, as well as aches and pains, and protects us from lifestyle diseases, while improving general health and performance and the enjoyment of our daily lives. During this pandemic, yoga has become more relevant as a means of staying physically fit and mentally balanced while being socially distanced. Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji has noted that vibrant and timeless tradition of yoga personifies unity, community, and immunity. Immunity being the most relevant in today's context. For the individual, it provides equanimity and also equilibrium. A person who is at peace with himself or herself is at peace with the world. I understand that dance yoga is a specific style of yoga practice that combines the various poses of yoga with the fluid movement of dance and music, in which the multiple asanas or poses of yoga are incorporated into various dance techniques. In this pandemic and uncertain times, this fusion of yoga and dance is needed more than ever to promote wholesome well-being, and I greatly look forward to hearing from our distinguished panelists on this subject this evening. I will conclude this short remark to once again express my sincere appreciation to Shaktya Bremen for organizing this program, and also to the panelists as well as participants who are present here today. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for your continuous support and your ever encouraging words. And I am also looking forward to this integration of yoga and dance and this seminar. Before we move on to our speakers, I would like to request Mr. Sanjay Tambe, President, Indien-Institut e.V. Munich, to give his welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Rajniji. Honored Consul General of India in Hamburg, Sir John Rongul, Vice-Consul Sir Gulshan Dhingra, esteemed guests, esteemed yoga artists and well-known yoga and dance experts, Dr. Rajesh Mishra from Shaktya and his team. I am very thankful to have given this opportunity for welcoming this today's seminar on yoga and I would say international dance. In my opinion, the Indian Institute is also involved in doing promotion of Indian culture, performing arts, literature, education, and all facets of India to the German audience. And yoga has become a very, very important factor in today's life. And the dance as a medium, dance as an art form, has taught us actually how to find the balance through yoga. So yoga used as a tool to find our own balance in life by means of a performing art like dance. It is a very, I would say, a unique combination, which I've been also talking to different dance artists in Germany as well as in India. They say that yoga is the only tool with which they are able to balance, keep the balance of their own lifestyle, which is many times stressful, because if you are a performer somewhere, a big artist, then you are invited to perform at different times as well as different locations. And yoga gives them an opportunity to keep their balance and also to perform their art in a godly, heavenly manner. And I would like to know in today's seminar from these honored guests and experts, how they are able to manage this or through the use of yoga, how they are able to manage these art performances on one side, and on the other side, bring them happiness for themselves, not only for the viewers or the audience who also enjoy their performances. That is a very important aspect, where the artist, if he gets a recognition from the audience, then there's a satisfaction which keeps them lively and also enables them to enhance their creativity. And how yoga has helped them to address this situation. This is what I would like to know from today's seminar. And I'm very thankful that such seminars are being organized in combination with the International Day of Yoga. Everyone knows yoga in Germany very well, and how people want to actually practice that. And it has now come to a more serious and more authentic mode, which is not remained like a fitness thing in every fitness center in Germany. It has become a special chapter. And I'm very happy that this development is coming in place by means of organizations like Shaktya and the consulates of India in Germany. So once again, thank you, and welcome to all of you to enjoy this unique combination of yoga and international dance.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay Tambeji. That was a very wonderful welcome address. Thanks a lot. I would now like to invite our first keynote speaker, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. Sonal Mansingh. Dr. Sonal Mansingh was nominated by the President of India to the Rajya Sabha, upper house of Indian Parliament in July 2018, in recognition of her lifelong dedication and service to India's arts. She is the recipient of Padma Vibhushan in 2003 from Shree APJ Abdul Kalam and Padma Bhushan in 1992 from Shree R. Venkataraman. Further, Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, nominated her as a Navratna for Swachh Bharat Mission. That's Clean India Mission. Her unique contribution has been her lifelong work using her knowledge to address socio-cultural issues through the chosen medium of dance as an art educator, cultural activist, and social motivator. As the founder president of Sri Kamakya Kalapeeth, Center for Indian Classical Dances, established in 1977, At Delhi, she has trained several thousand talented students who are carrying the message of Indian culture globally. She teaches the art as holistic concept combining music, yoga, Sanskrit, and cultural traditions of India. Ma'am, may I request you to please share your thoughts?
Namaskaram. Am I heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Because I am totally techno-ignorant. Yeah. And I had to induct somebody from my household to set this up. Pranam, my deepest humble salutations to Yogeshwar Shiva and Yogeshwari Mahadevi Mahamaya, and to all of you who are doing this great work of bringing light, knowledge, and the deeper meanings of why we should live in a particular way. So, first of all, I have been saying for some years now that yoga, yujyate iti yoga, simple, we all know that which joins. Now, whether it is friendship, it's a mitra yoga, whether the lovers, sambhoga yoga, prema yoga, whether viraha yoga in separation, or sahaja yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, kriya yoga, nada yoga, there is a list of yogas. To me, it appears that in the Shastriya Nritya Parampara, that is to say, that those dance forms which adhere to the compendium text, at least 1500, 2000 years old, Bharatanatyam Shastra. We don't call them classical, but I would like to call them the traditional dance forms. They are in themselves Nritya Yoga. Dance as yoga. Because dance in this combines not only the body from top to toe, each major and minor limb, eyebrows and eyes and neck and torso and each finger, and together they create beauty of their own. Waist, the positions of the feet, and to weave them all in nritta, that is the pure dance, in very complicated or simple rhythmic cycles, or also with that, the expressing moods, expressing situations and characters of life itself. So this Sharirika yoga is number one in Nritya yoga, top to toe, which combines. Then I would say the mind, of course, is the master that makes us dance, that gives us the immediate responses, reminds us whether on stage, off stage. And the third is, of course, what we know, the unknown, the spirit, the soul. That's something Atma we cannot catch, we cannot hold, we cannot touch, we cannot see, but it is there in all of us. And when that begins to manifest itself through our body, through our dance, believe you me, not only the dancer, but the entire audience becomes a yoga sthali, a yoga shrama. And the rasikas, the audience themselves feel, they go into a kind of a samadhi, they go into an anandam. they dip into that ocean of bliss, maybe even for a few moments. And that is why I say that, to me, why our ancestors, very wise seers and sages, gave the title of Nataraja, the king of dance, to Shiva, the great Mahadev, god of gods, Devadidev, because Nataraja, I always say, he's not called Nritya Raja, Kavi Raja. So whatever, my first introduction to yoga has been through dance, and I have lived every moment of that as yoga. I'm sure there'll be a second round to say something more, and I'm delighted and honored to be in such august presence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was indeed motivating and extremely informative to know Nritya yoga and how did you start experience. We would definitely like to hear more from you, and I therefore request you to please stay the rest of the program and answer any questions that come from the audience. That would be nice to have you for the rest of the program.
Ma'am, I hope there'll be a second round where one can say a little more, or does one have to say everything now?
As you prefer, ma'am. If you could continue, it would be great that if you continue now.
Ah, okay. I thought I should not eat up everybody's time, you know. So how much time would you say? Another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
We could hear you 24/7, but for now, I could request you for 10 more minutes we have, and then if we have some time left at the end of the meeting, we could continue then.
Sure. Good to know. Thank you. Some of the texts, great texts on yoga, they describe 238 kinds of pranayama. 238. 238 in German. Pranayama. That is the control of the breath and how to play the breath. I don't only say control, because control becomes sometimes a negative. It has a negative sound to it. But control and play with your prana. Then there are actually, texts say 800 asanas, 800. And out of that, I think the most popular asanas could be 30, 50. Dance, I come back to dance once again. If ever any of you have visited or plan to visit in future the temples, especially in South India, especially in the towns of Kumbhakonam and Chidambaram, you will see amazing sculptures, the 108 karanas, 108 dance postures. Actually, karana is not a posture. It is an entire movement from beginning to the high point to the release. But in stone, you can only show the high point. And there are corresponding shloks, the Sanskrit verses in the Natya Shastra. Now, the other day I was showing in the Yoga Parva, our own video, that amazingly, some of them are wonderfully acrobatic. I mean, you expect a dancer to be so pliable that with one leg upraised and the big toe putting a tilak, a dot here, or Ganga Vatarana, the descent of the river Ganga from heaven, as our story goes. And the entire body is on the floor, and the two legs are up there showing the descent. Shakatasya, and there are so many like that. So my students are asking, but Guruji, how can we do that? I said, listen, darling, Nritya and yoga together are one. Let us not forget that beginning of ecstasy of life is with dance, Whenever the first man, first woman felt ecstatic, they danced in joy. And all our cave paintings dating 10,000, 12,000 years ago show that. I say acrobatics, but don't look at them as acrobatics. See the titles and get that expression in your body. There are some which are extremely graceful, which I've seen normal, ordinary people in India, even the men, they sort of stand in arasa, they stand like that, or talking to each other in, abhanga and tribhanga, the three bend postures that we have to cultivate in dance. So dance is natural to the body, and if we consider yoga and dance as one, then it becomes much easier. So I was telling you about the 800 asanas, then there are the mudras and the bandhas, which are practiced in Odissi and in some other dance forms. There are kriyas in yoga, and those kriyas, as the kriya yoga, come to dancer like that, just easily. So the point I'm trying to make is that a dancer in India, especially the traditional dancer, is actually a yogi as well. And as in introduction it was said, that because of the long travel hours and unnatural timings of performances and whatever. I mean, I've spent half my life as Upavasi. I've not had lunch, I've not had breakfast, I've danced, and if lucky, after the dance, there is time to have a bite. Now, how does that happen? And not for one performance, but long tours in South America, long tours in Europe. How does that happen? So a dancer is a born yogi. Another thing that I would like to mention here, that the Patanjala Yoga Sutra mentions the 8 stages, the 8 levels. So the 5 levels are the Bahir Yoga, where you train your breath, your pranayama, asana, and pratyahara and all that. The other 3 are Antar Yoga, where you go inwards and actually the evolutionary process happens then. Because the outer yoga is to prepare the body to be disciplined. Only then you can go inwards and slowly attain levels. Now, why I say this is that Dhyana, Dharana, Samadhi, on stage, sometimes during practice sessions, rehearsals, learning from gurus, people have felt that they have been in Samadhi, as I said earlier. When I dance Gita Govinda, so often people say, we saw Krishna dancing with you. There is no Krishna on stage. What happens? And I'm not a magician. I don't conjure Krishna, but I do conjure Krishna through my dance, through my dharana, through my sankalpa. And in that Ananda Samadhi, Krishna appears not only to me, but to everyone. When I danced Mary Magdalene, the dance of Mary Magdalene, when she watches this figure go by and she follows, something happens to her, happens to be Jesus Christ, and she enters the house of Simon and falls at his feet and washes with her tears the feet and wipes them with her silken long hair and anoints them with the perfume she has brought. And then she asks, I have knocked at your door. Will you not open the door? and whatever the Christ says, yes, of course. Now, this is a poem. This is, of course, from Bible, but this is a poem by the Malayali Kerala poet Vallathol Narayana Menon. Neither people in Argentina understood Malayalam, nor did they understand the technique of Bharatanatyam. In Mexico, the same thing. In Brazil, the same thing. But I talk of Argentina now, Buenos Aires, Theatre de Colón, that after the performance, of course, there was silence, and then, of course, the encores and the bravos and all. Later, the Archbishop of, I believe, Cardinal or Archbishop of Buenos Aires was introduced to me in the dressing room by the ambassador. He fell on his knees, took my hand and kissed the ring. And he looked at me with tears and he said in Spanish, I saw Christ. And of course, the interpreter, I understood that. And I was so moved. Then I rose him up and he says, are you Christian? I said, no, I'm Hindu. And then he asked, then how could you do this? I said, because for us, loving surrender in love is the greatest yoga, Prema Yoga. And that is the yoga which we have Krishna, Meera and Krishna, Amrapali and Buddha. There are so many examples. Akka Mahadevi with Lord Mahadev Shiva. And this is where I say that the dancer is a great yogi without her knowing it. I'm not only talking of the yoga as we are discussing, because yoga goes much beyond that, according to me. It covers entire life, outer and inner, and it is really the ladder, the jina, the step-by-step rising of the consciousness. With that, anandam. It is not a dry consciousness, it is not a dry process. There has to be rasa. There has to be prema, love, flavor, taste, ananda, delight, bliss, joy. And if yoga is not about that, then what is yoga? That is the question I usually ask myself and to others. That it is Hatha Yoga is only the very minuscule beginning. Like the dancer has to learn the grammar of the body. That if I raise one eyebrow and look askance, it means something. But I have to learn to make my eyebrows move the way I want. I have to make my eyes move the way I want. And I can use them at the right moment. The fingers, the hands, the body, the postures, the way I walk, the way I sit on stage, everything should be very clear. It will only come with sadhana, kneading the body, disciplining the body, and disciplining the mind, which is a monkey mind. My guru used to say, show me the difference between monkey and you. And I'm still trying to show that difference. He's no more. He's in my heart. I'm still trying to show that difference. So if we treat the body only as a vehicle, but an able vehicle, an already prepared vehicle, a disciplined vehicle, in which we take joy to be. I always say, we know that this body is our only real home in this life. This is our real home. The outer houses, homes made of cement, concrete, whatever, they are secondary. This is the primary home, and keep that home clean, happy, with good vibrations that can happen with this kind of yoga, yogic thinking, yogic discipline. And with that, then you are able to do so much. My last point would be, I'm so glad that you are holding this discussion and inviting dancers, that we believe, especially the dancers, we are so selfless. We dance on stage for hundreds and thousands. We don't sit in one room and do our own yoga and feel very happy. Yes, yes, I'm evolving. No. The dancer shares. The dancer gives. The dancer offers. The dancer brings everybody in. And I think that also is the Sahaja Yoga, by which you and the audience become one with the dance. And after some time, there is no dancer, there is no audience, only the dance remains as the samadhi, the ultimate. And with that, I would like to once again say thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for such wonderful words and for creating this very good connection between dance and yoga. I am myself a Bharatanatyam dancer, but I really did not know I was doing yoga when I was a child. So it's really great to hear. And it was like listening to a story. I must say your energy is really contagious and you speak, you're so expressive, like I can hear you talk with your eyes. So it's really nice to hear you. And I really hope that you stay with us for the rest of the program. Thank you.
Okay, yes. I will.
Sure, great. Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on to our next speaker, we would like to let you know, unfortunately, Padma Bhushan Alarmel Bali couldn't join us for the seminar today, but we are very sure and we look forward to hearing from her in our future programs. So now we have our next distinguished speaker to honor with us with her talk is Padma Shri Shovana Narayan. Padma Shri Guru Shovana Narayan is sheer poetry and sublime joy transcending boundaries, an acknowledged and exquisite diamond of her art style, an outstanding dancer, a consummate artist, and a choreographer. She is not only India's most celebrated Kathak Guru and Maestro of the present age, but she has also become a living legend who has blazed a trail in Kathak. In her career spanning several decades that has seen her mesmerizing audiences all over the world in several prestigious national and international festivals, she has been conferred with numerous awards, outstanding among which are the Padma Shri Award for Excellence and Outstanding Contribution to Dance by the President of India in 1992, and yet again the Sangeet Natak Akademi Award by the President of India for 1999-2000. So please everyone get inspiration and energy from this dynamic group.
Namaskar. Sorry for joining late, and it's wonderful to be here, and I'm extremely grateful to Rajesh ji for having me over here. I'm so wonderful to see my dear friend and senior Sonal ji over here. Sonal ji, I'm so sorry to have missed your because it's always such a pleasure to hear you. And so I'm the loser because I really missed it, and I missed the the thoughts of so many others. So I'm really sorry for this, but I was in another seminar where I was speaking, so that was going on. But well, better late than never. And since we are talking about yoga and dance, maybe what I'm going to say is has already been said by other speakers before. But to me, as a classical dancer, and yoga and dance are not different at all. For me, dance is yoga, and I'm living it day in day and life throughout. All of us as dancers are living it through it day and night through our lives, whether it is as a student in the learning process, or whether even it is as a performer, or what I would say even as a human being, as part of the worldly, this entire duties that we have to carve out, deliver in this world. So I think each one of us is, there is that element of yoga, and particularly if I look at it, when I think of yoga, it's so deep because within each one of us, there's this sense of creativity. There's also, we are little movers and shakers even within the entire small little arena of our family. So even as the leadership quality is there as part of our lives, because after all, we are talking about mother is an example to the child. So there is a leadership. Now I'm talking about it because, and now I'm coming also as a dancer, is that we have so many different kinds of yoga. You have the Gyan Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, the Kriya Yoga, and the Karma Yoga. So one is a Karma Yoga and one is a Kriya Yoga. Now we have, now I'm coming back to my original premise as a dancer. When I said dance is yoga, as a dancer, we are actually following all the different aspects of yoga, whether it is the Bhakti Yoga, whether it is the Gyan Yoga, because every aspect is reflected in our dance form, every little aspect. And and if I look at even going a little more specific into Patanjali's 8 ayams, I'm so grateful to even Sonal ji, who had written the foreword for my book on on dance and yoga, and I'm extremely grateful to Sonal ji for that. And so even when I'm sorry, there was I had to switch off the phone. I'd forgotten. So all the 8 aspects of Patanjali's ayams, as dancers, and now I'm speaking specifically as a dancer, whether as a student, and we are students all our lives because we are learning every day, every single day is a learning, we are a student, or as a performer, because each one of us is a performer even in the worldly life, besides being the stage performer. We are going through it. Yam, what is it? Because until there's no purity of intentions and thoughts and a determination, you cannot have that yam. So that aspect of even that intention has to be pure and honest. Honest within yourself, honest to the art form, honest to even the society around. So that aspect of yam, niyam also, each one of us are going through it, whether in the part of the training process or as a student, but even in life there are rules and regulations which we have to follow. So even as part of life. Now asana, the third one, which is the most talked about, and the third and the fourth ayams, that is the asana and the pranayama. Of course, asana is there. That dance itself, I mean, with all the physical exercises that we do, with all the movements, that is, we are going from one asana to other seamlessly, without showing strain, and yet in one little piece, we have probably covered about, I don't know, a number of asanas, but what the beauty is, where how we display the pranayama part of it, and that's important. Because it has to be, the breath control is important for being able to seamlessly go through all the asanas required in a particular sequence of a dance, and where it involves all the respect. So not only are we utilizing the various asanas, even our mudras, the yoga mudras are also utilized in dance, and each one of them has a significance. each one. And we know that they are all connected with the nervous system. So every aspect, from the physiological part of it, from the physical part of it, from the mental part of it, every aspect it's all interconnected. Let me come to pranayama. Even as far as pranayama is concerned, each one of us but in dance, and if I look at even the Kathak, when we are doing a very strenuous piece, and then suddenly we come to say the Padhant out for the next one, I cannot even afford to lose my breath or even lose a fraction of a beat, because I'll become betala, which is out of sync with the rhythm. And look at life. If we become out of sync with life itself, we have problems around. We have natural disasters around. So again, that aspect of being in sync, in harmony, is there. And particularly in pranayama, as far as Kathak is concerned, that aspect of pranayama where all the lom, vilom, bhatvika, every aspect is exercised and utilized seamlessly. And of course, pratyahar, dharana, unless you don't have your determination. And I would come to the seventh part of it, the dhyan. I always say that, in as a dancer, as a child, I remember when I was doing my footwork, and I kept on doing it, and sometimes you stamp a little more, sometimes the balance was not there. When the balance, so the guru would say, bring so that you start hearing music within. And that is when you start hearing music within, you have entered the state of dhyan, because then you start, there is an inner harmony that is coming about, and you start hearing music within. And I still remember, beta aisa karo ki sangeet isme sunai pade. And those are the words which still resound in my ears. And finally, the samadhi, when the dancer ceases to be different from the dancer, but becomes one with the dance. And that is what life is all about. Life is talking about harmony. Life is talking about complete sublimation, complete honesty to your own self, to your own intentions, and to as far as to the surrounding environment. I have to be physically and mentally fit inside, so that now the question is, we talk about inward harmony. The one we are talking, that one, you have inward harmony, you're in harmony with the surroundings. But it's a two-way process. Even if I'm in harmony with the surrounding, I'll find harmony within. So the question is, what kind of thought processes? So that means a balanced thought process, balanced mind, balanced physical actions, balanced kriyas, balanced, so karmas, so all aspects. And finally, that bhakti. When we are talking of gyan is wisdom, but when I'm coming to bhakti, one is spirituality of a different kind. But that spirituality is of a dynamic dynamism that is even through service to others, there is the service to that higher being, to humanity, to the larger good. So that aspect, when that aspect comes in, when we rid ourselves of the vices, that all kinds of vices which arises out of all kinds of I would say basically it arises out of a sense of insecurity and fear within us. When that insecurity and fear will perhaps lead to something where there is overemphasis on certain negative features of mankind and of the human nature. And that when that happens, the imbalance starts setting in. And that means we are straying away from what what yoga desires. And yoga is not only physical asanas, but as many of you would have said, it's the meeting together, that harmony, that bringing together of the mind, body, and soul. But that only comes in when we are able to, in a way, empty ourselves of our desires. But there is a desire, greater desire, that we need to keep, and that is the desire to serve humanity. And that is why there is a little bit of selfishness there, of desire to serve. But the moment we say it's only to serve humanity, but without the other corresponding part of it, then perhaps we are actually doing the Kriya Yoga. And in a way also seeing what Shivji represented, the two deities, Shivji and Krishna, the two together. If one is a Mahayogi, one is a Karma Yogi. But between even the two of them are two sides of the same coin. Because finally, what are they talking about? The larger good of humanity, but without succumbing to the negative tendencies which are there present in mankind, because we are mortals. And however, so emptying ourselves of those negativities of greed, lust, etc., and doing it for the larger good of humanity. So therefore, I said outward harmony without rancor, without fear, or favor, brings about an inner harmony. And there again, there is another kind of a yoga present between the outer harmony and the inner harmony. And of course, for the inner harmony, we also need to have cleanse ourselves, look in as far as our mind is concerned, our body is concerned, as well as what finally that part of the bhakti yoga comes in, because the gyan comes in and then bhakti yoga. So all the four aspects, the kriya, the karma, the gyan, and the bhakti are all interlinked. And that comes, and each person is that little bubble, that little water droplet. And each one of us, if we have that aspect of a balanced human personality and human being, then I think that is what is the ultimate, that is the ideal situation. And each one of us strives towards it, will strive towards it. And as a dancer, individually in our professions also, we are actually, and as I said, as a dancer, if I look at just the 8 ayams, dance is you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot for sharing your great knowledge with us. We remember you and your performance in Bremen, and people in Bremen really are still missing you and your presence. So when are you coming next? And of course, we hope that you'll stay with us for the rest of the session, so we could have a great Q&A session with you and the other speakers. Our next keynote speaker of the day is Guru Pandit Rajendra Gangani. Pandit Rajendra Gangani, the disciple and son of Pandit Kundanlal Gangani ji. Rajendra Gangani started training in the art of Kathak dance at the early age of 4. Renowned Jaipur Gharana saw the emergence of an outstanding performance and crusader of the art in the talented scion of a family of hereditary dancers serving the art of Kathak for centuries together. He is one among the few Indians who have performed solo in Queen Elizabeth Hall, London, the Festival of India in USSR, apart from performances in the US, the EU, China, Japan, and Afghanistan. Among the numerous awards and accolades he has won are the Sangeet Raj, Shastriya Natya Shiromani, and the prestigious Sangeet Natya Akademi Award, which was bestowed upon him in 2003 by the President of India, Honorable Shree APG Abdul Kalam. Guru Pandit Rajendra Gangani, may I request you to please enlighten us with your talk.
Pranam and Namaskar, and my special pranam to Sonal ji, Sonal Didi and Shovana ji. Or I'm very happy to be here क्योंकि नृत्य और योग नृत्य, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बचपन से नृत्य जब करते आ रहे हैं तब से एक दूसरे का एक कॉम्बिनेशन सा महसूस होता था कि कंट्रोल कैसे कर रहे हैं और वो याद कैसे कर रहे हैं और उसको कर कैसे रहे हैं। हम लोग जो सीख रहे हैं उसको आगे कैसे कर रहे हैं, केवल डांस है या कुछ और है, डांस क्या है, फिर कनेक्ट क्या है, उसकी कनेक्टिविटी क्या है। सो मुझे एक चीज समझ में आई, योग माया योग क्रिया, क्योंकि सोनाल जी ने बहुत अच्छा समझाया और सारी योग की और नृत्य के बीच में जो एक समावेश है, दोनों एक मिलते हैं, जहाँ वो चीज बताई। शोभना दीदी ने भी बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया। मैं ये सोच रहा था कि योग माया और योग क्रिया और इन दोनों के साथ मिलके डांस, शायद ऐसा लगता है कि जब हम जो चीज स्थापित करते हैं, ईश्वर का आराधना करते हैं, तो वो ईश्वर जो है वो मंच पे कैसे दिखाई देते हैं, कैसे उन तक हम पहुंचते हैं, वो एक तरीके से कलाकार के बीच में और दर्शकों के बीच में सामंजस्य बन जाता है, इक्वलिटी का जैसा महसूस होता है। वो ऐसा लगता है कि हाँ, यहाँ ईश्वर का वास है और भगवान यही है, शिव यही है जो योगी कहलाए जाते हैं, कृष्ण यही है जो कर्म के योग के लिए कहते हैं, नर्तक भी है, 16 कलाओं के ज्ञाता है। तो वो ऐसा एक ऑरा बन जाता है, इट्स लाइक कि योग माया बन जाती है। और जब टेक्निक, जब हम ताल के साथ, हमारा जो कथक का रेpertoire है स्पेशली, जिसमें हम लोग टेक्निक को तैयारी के साथ और उसमें एक आनंद का इनपुट होता है या आनंद की प्राप्ति होती है जब नृत्य करते हैं, तो वो जो क्रिया हो रही होती है वह क्रिया एक तरीके से योग के बलबूते पे होती है, क्योंकि बिना, जहां आप सोचे नहीं वहां की गति तक आप जा रहे हैं, जिस दिशा में आपको खड़े होके भी एक ऐसे पलटा भी ले लें कि लेफ्ट टर्न ले लें, उसमें आप लोग बहुत सारे राउंड भी हम लोग कथक में प्रयोग करते हैं। तो वो कंट्रोल कैसे होता है, और हम उसके बाद सम पे आते हैं तो एकदम असर पड़ता है कि क्या, लेकिन सम पे आके वो जो अंदर की एक शक्ति है जो हमें उस वक्त स्थिर रखती है, वो स्थिरता, वो जो अंदर एक पावर है जो हमको कंट्रोल कर रहा है, वो कंट्रोल और वो बिल्कुल दिशा के साथ जो हम लोग क्रिया कर रहे हैं, वह एक तरीके से योग को सपोर्ट कर रहा है। डांस, योग डांस को सपोर्ट कर रहा है। योग क्रिया एक आसन पे किया जाता है, लेकिन एक साधक, नृत्य साधक जो होते हैं, वह मंच बना के जब नृत्य प्रारंभ करते हैं, वहां से वह नृत्य क्रिया की तरफ बढ़ते हैं और योग उन्हें एक तरीके से जैसे लौ जलनी शुरू हो जाती है, तो वो उसे इनहेरिट करता है और उसे रोशनी देता है, शक्ति देता है और उसे मजबूती देता है। तो एक बहुत बड़ी चीज अभी इस कोविड के टाइम पे हुई, जो सब पे उसका असर पड़ा, कि जो हम लोग करते थे कार्यक्रम, प्रोग्राम, टूर और वो सब चीजें अभी नहीं कर पा रहे, बट अंदर एक विश्वास और एक सकारात्मक जो सोच है वो ये है कि नहीं, ये समय भी चला जाएगा और हमें आशावादी होना है, निराशावादी नहीं होना है। और इसके लिए जो अंदर एक शक्ति है वो आपका आत्मज्ञान है और उसके साथ साथ आपका परिश्रम है, जो हम क्रिया योग की अलग से ना भी करें तो मुझे हमेशा ऐसा लगता है कि नृत्य के अंदर ही वो हमें समाहित है वो क्रिया है, क्योंकि हम घंटों नृत्य करते हैं। जैसा सोनल मानसिंह दीदी ने भी बताया, शोभना जी ने बताया कि 2-2, 3-3 घंटे हम लगातार पसीना पसीना हो रहे हैं और मजाल क्या कि हमें अंदर ये लग रहा है कि हम कहीं थके हैं या हमें कहीं अभी थोड़ा रेस्ट चाहिए। नो, क्योंकि एक बंदिश जब हम एक नाचते हैं, उस बंदिश का सम आने के बाद हम उसमें वापस अपनी उस एनर्जी को अंदर गेन कर लेते हैं और दूसरा बंदिश या दूसरा वो जो फॉर्मेट है उसकी तरफ बढ़ जाते हैं। और बीच में ना 2 घंटे नाच रहे हैं, पसीना खूब आ रहा है, लेकिन बीच में ना पानी पीना ना पसीना पहुंचना, वो क्योंकि वो ऐसा लगता है जैसे आपकी शक्ति अब बढ़ती जा रही है, घट नहीं रही। वो जो पावर है वो और इनहेंस हो रहा है और शक्ति आपके अंदर आ रही है। सो वो जो ये जो क्रिया है वो नृत्य क्रिया तो है, लेकिन अंदर उससे सपोर्ट कर रहा है वो है योग क्रिया। सो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये योग जो है वो नृत्य के साथ ऐसे है जैसे हाथ में इधर एक हिस्सा है तो हाथ का ये भी एक हिस्सा है, इधर से भी उससे कम अपने डांस के पास है, इधर से भी हम अपने डांस के पास है, और अंदर जो है उसकी ज्वाला, उसकी शक्ति और उसका अंदर पावर जो हमें बिल्कुल मजबूती के साथ रख रहा है। और हम अपने नृत्य साधना, योग भी साधना है, नृत्य भी साधना है, वो मेरे ख्याल से हम आगे बढ़ते जाते हैं और बहुत सपोर्ट मिलता है, क्योंकि हमारे ये जो नृत्य क्रिया बनी ये ऋषि मुनियों ने से ही हमें मिली थी। उन्होंने इसकी रचना की, नृत्य की, उन्होंने योग दिया, नृत्य दिया और उन दोनों को मिला दिया, तो योग जो है था, है, रहेगा और युगे 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 हो गया। इसके साथ मैं बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ कॉन्सुलेट जनरल जी का, शोभना दीदी का और सोनाल दीदी का और राजेश जी का और शक्ति का। रजनी जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
धन्यवाद पंडित राजेंद्र गंगानी जी, बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको सुनकर। और मैं आपसे बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ कि योगा एक सपोर्ट सिस्टम है डांस के लिए, और हर एक डांसर जो क्रिया करता है वो आपस खुद में ही बहुत ही इंस्पिरेशनल है। और आप सब लोगों को सुन के बहुत ही मोटिवेशनल हो रहा है कि हाँ, कि किस तरह योगा और डांस मिलजुल के साथ में एक इंसान की पर्सनालिटी को डेवलप करते हैं। शुक्रिया।
थैंक यू।
I would now like to introduce our next key speaker, Mr. Deodatt Persaud. Deodatt Persaud is a dynamic Kathak artist based in Germany and belongs to a younger generation of upcoming artists. He is known throughout Germany for his dedication towards the promotion of Kathak classical dance. Not only is he a talented and skillful performer, but he also teaches the art in several cities across the country and Europe through his institution, Sangeet. May I now request you to provide your remarks on this. Thank you.
Namaskaram, Consulate General, Vice-Consul General, Senior Gurus, Rajesh ji, and other participating members today. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and view and experience. Very little in comparison to the wonderful knowledge that Shobna Didi and Sonal Didi, and of course, I'm so lucky today that I have my own guru, Pandit Rajendra Gangani ji, on the panel speaking today with us. Where to start? That is the interesting question. When we think about dance and yoga, a dancer, immediately what comes to the dancer's mind is, of course, Shivaji, because we consider him as the Mahayogi and as well as Nataraj. So it means both the things, dance and yoga, is clearly coming from one source. And in one sense, it is a stream that is flowing from Shivaji that will definitely have similarities. And of course, there will be some differences involved as well. So, my experience as a teaching Kathak here in Europe, I have encountered students coming with very interesting questions like, they can't understand the relationship between dance and yoga. How does this work? And today it's so nice that Rajeshji has put together such a wonderful platform where we can actually inform those individuals who are wishing to know more about dance and yoga. So one similarity that I would like to hit off the bat definitely about dance and yoga is that they are both a physical discipline. And that word discipline, that is something that many young practitioners of dance, they have not quite understand what that discipline is. So a discipline, of course, definitely means you have to put in loads of practice, long hours of practice. But it's not only about the practice of the dance. It is a way of calling us back. This discipline is a way of calling us back to our bodies, making us aware of our entire body. And it's a communication with ourselves, actually, this discipline. As a dancer, I'll use myself as the example that is always the easiest. As a dancer, when I do my practice, now, of course, we all know that how practice is very important to the dancer. In the same way, of course, practicing yoga on a regular basis. That means we have to get up early, probably, make sure that we do our practice. And we generally have a good feeling about ourselves after we have done that yoga practice. But what the good feeling is always circulated, or it encompasses a lot more. In order to get to that good feeling, the dancer, myself, we have a constant dialogue with ourselves. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or you want to say internal dialogues with yourself. So that physical discipline is bringing out during our practice session an internal dialogue. So this is one of the things that I would like to definitely say to those new students who are learning dance and trying to learn yoga, is that it gives us this physical practice, this physical discipline gives us this ability to have an internal dialogue with ourselves. And that we do definitely every time we think about the composition, every time we create an Abhinaya piece, our thoughts are constantly turning. We're having a monologue with ourselves. And this is what we will probably like to say as self-talk therapy. Now we're talking to ourselves. We are using this medium, this discipline, this way to break our stress from our daily lives in this time, in this age, this day, in this time in that we're living in. We definitely all have our own quotas of stress. And definitely through yoga and dance, the discipline is a way of having a self-talk therapy with yourself, and a medium through which you can have a dialogue to sort things out with your own self. You actually forget about all the stress you have once you've been absorbed in that creative process, that practice process, that practice session. So that is one of the things that I would definitely like to say, that it's a physical discipline, and this is how it basically works. As a child, I was told, or I was often made to say in my school, little effort, little hour gains. Man's fortune are according to his pains. So it means basically, whatever you put in is exactly what you're going to get out. If you're disciplined enough to practice more and to do more, it is only a universal fact that you will be able to get more out of it. Secondly, of course, we have, I love the way that Shovana Didi explains so much about pranayam. So many things are involved. Of course, another similarity definitely is that both dance and yoga are breath-guided movements. Now, we take it, breathing is such an easy thing, no? Or the human evolution, we have been evolved in such a way that we don't even think that we're breathing. But through dance, through yoga, we definitely become much more aware of what our breath is doing. Now, this whole pranayam, bringing us, making us aware of prana, which is the life force. No? That is a whole topic by itself. So you see that it's breath-guided movement, definitely. And even into our simple compositions, no? When we execute the dances, so the yogi practitioner, the dancer is so aware of the breath. In all of our composition, we know very well dha, ti, ta, dha, 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 ti, ta. We know exactly that how to take that breath and release that breath. And on the scientific note, just from a little bit of high school science, we know that when we don't breathe, that our body is not getting that oxygenated blood that we need. And of course, our muscles immediately start producing lactic acid, which makes us feel tired. So basically, I would just like to say that both the dancer and the yogic practitioner, they are so conscious, they're so aware of their breathing that, you know, this is one of the other similarities that I would like to draw on when we think about dance and yoga. As all of my seniors have clearly said, that it is not different in any way. No? Same source, the river has maybe slightly branched in two directions, but the stream is flowing with the same content. I do like, my little bit of intrigue basically is on the use or the concept of healthy hands in the dance. As dancers, maybe yoga practitioners, we are quite aware that we both use several sets of hand gestures in the dance. According to our dance Natya Shastra, they have given us around 54 mudras that we use, 28 samyuktas, 24 samyuktas. And correspondingly, of course, we find that there's a roughly about, please correct me if I'm wrong, 72 generally used mudras in yogic practice. Now, the number 72 is quite interesting, as science will probably tell us that there are 72,000 neural pathways in our bodies. And of course, these pathways, they usually end in our fingertips, as Shovana Didi highlighted. We know that in yogic science, we accept that the fingers, they each represent one of the 5 elements that exist. That is fire, water, earth, ether, and what am I missing? Fire, water, earth. Wind, sorry, yes. So these elements are definitely inside of the fingers. If I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking that the wind is here on the index finger, the ether is in the middle finger, the water is on the little finger, the earth is on the first finger, and fire definitely is the thumb. So we see that yoga has an array of mudras as well as the dance, and the dancer unconsciously, consciously, those who are aware, those who are not aware, we actually utilize some of the mudras. They lap into each other. So you will have, for example, in yoga, the Gyan mudra, the very common Gyan mudra. They will hold the fingers to the tips. In Kathak classical dancing, of course, we have it slightly a little bit down at the bottom. And this is our basic position in Kathak dancing. This is the Aral mudra. And the yogic science tells us how important this simple gesture is for us. That, you know, it is a way of towards calmness, peace, ease, and also the path to spirituality. Now, it is Gyan. It means it is the mudra which is giving us, which is good or beneficial for memory, for concentration, for relieving stress, headaches, any form of disorders with the mind. So it is surprising as well that the Kathak dancer, after dancing so many things, whatever piece he does, he will come back into the formation where he rests the hands in front of the chest in Gyan Mudra, and according to yoga, and or Aral as in dance. So you can definitely see immediately how the two things are so interwoven with each other, both dance and yoga. I can continue, of course, on the mudras. There are many similar mudras if we can continue, but I don't want to do that at the moment. I'll just highlight a little difference and where it probably branched off. What I feel, this is my personal little experience, take on it, the matter. So I feel that the yogic practitioner is so aware of himself, of his body, the dancer too, but I find that the dancer comes from a much stressed environment, and the yogi or the yogic practitioner has definitely a better means or a better remedy or a better way to deal with stress factors. Again, it's the same coin. We're looking at two sides, but the coin also has this, an outer edge as well. So we are talking about three sides of the coin. And they are no different from each other, as all of my seniors have highlighted. Now that coin is connected with an outer layer. So that means both yoga and dance will have an intrinsic bond, that binds them together. It means that a yoga practitioner, if utilizing the dynamics, the creativity, could enhance his yogic practice. Likewise, the concentration to execute movements. The dancer could also take those. Can also take those elements. I'm getting a small feedback. Can also take those elements from the yogic practitioner. A lot of studies have been going on. I've had the opportunity to pick up a few literature on the importance of dance movement therapy. Of course, we've seen that the whole world is utilizing dance movement therapy. Many dance schools, many dance institutions, a lot of research work is being put into the movement, dance movement therapy, and there's a lot to be said on that. Now, the utilizing of dance and yoga to heal, to help many diseases that exist today. So I hope I haven't overspoken my time. Then I would just like to bring my little talk to a rest. And thank you so much for listening to me. And I hope I had, there was something that you have found very interesting in the little chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deodatt Persaud ji. Definitely, it was really informative for us, and I myself learned a lot from your talk. So thank you so much for your words of wisdom. It was really a great pleasure to listen to you, and you touched upon so many topics, also giving it a scientific explanation. It's really, especially to the younger generation, it can be very catchy, and to instill some discipline in the younger generation that everything, yoga, dance, everything comes only through the mode of discipline.
Thank you so much. There's a definite wonderful slok from Gita. Sorry, just finish. Buddhi yukto jaha tiha ubay sukrit dushkrute tasmad yoga yujasva yoga karma sukaushana. Now we're just interested in the last part, yoga karma sukaushana. Every single thing that we do, there's any excellence in the work we do, there is yoga behind it. No, there's yoga in everything, not only in dance, but throughout every single thing that we do, to study, to achieve something. No, that yogic concentration is there. So I end on this yogic shlok, the shlok from the Gita. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again. So moving on to our last but not the least speaker of the event, Mr. Tomas Bürner. Tomas Bürner has studied classical and modern stage dance at the University of Music and Drama Hanover, and was a member of the Dance Theatre Bremen for many years. Afterwards, he did an integrated dance teacher training at the Mark Morris Dance Center in New York City and was a guest lecturer at the University of Arts in Buenos Aires and has been working for several years at the invitation of Poetry Institute, Bangladesh, as a guest lecturer for contemporary dance and choreography at the National Theatre and University in Dhaka. He has also taken up lecturerships at the University of Bremen and the HKS Petersburg. Tomas Bürner teaches and choreographs in the professional and non-professional areas. He is co-founder of Dance Collective Bremen, jury member of the Tanztreffen der Jungen Berliner Schule and Yoga teacher. Welcome, Mr. Tomas Bürner.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And good afternoon to Germany. Good evening to India. I'm very much grateful being invited with all these experts and feeling a bit shy, like because for me as a dancer, I'm an eternal researcher, and one of the researches that I'm doing is yoga. So I'm not a specialist, I wouldn't say this. I'm a beginner maybe in yoga, but I was always interested in yoga. And I never knew really why, but there was something missing maybe in my dance practice. Maybe it was this. So this is something which is somehow, it was foreign to me, which comes closer and closer also through my yoga teacher education. And through yoga also maybe India comes closer. And India also came closer because of my work in Bangladesh, because for 7 years now, I'm working regularly in Bangladesh, which is somehow now interrupted due to this horrible situation worldwide. And in Bangladesh, I was actually working with many dancers who were learning or practicing the classical Indian dance form. So this was for me actually something that is that was new to me as dance form. But dance for me is actually a form of communication, and I try to communicate worldwide through dance. And through this work in Bangladesh, I also came to India. So I was several times in Kolkata. I was invited to the Attakalari festival in Bangalore. So India was always something very interesting to me, and it comes now from all the sides, I would say. There are many things to say about yoga and dance for me. It's very difficult to choose. But we heard so many interesting things, so my head is full of information. I made so many notes what I would like to continue to research. So eternal research, maybe this is something for me as an artist, which is very important, because I'm learning always from the others. And this is maybe the first thing I learned from yoga, that I prefer when I go in a dance class, the word sharing instead of teaching. This is a word that it's very often used in yoga classes, sharing, and I really like this. And maybe also taking care. It's something that is very important now, and taking care for others, taking care for myself, taking care for my body. And this is something not often, but in the professional way, it is missing sometimes in dance. So my world of dance is that I'm a dancer, I'm a choreographer, and I'm a teacher, and I'm a lecturer. But I'm working not just with professionals, I'm working also with non-professionals. And I'm working, for example, I did this further education, I'm teaching dance for people with Parkinson's. And I always was integrating yoga movements in dance classes. For example, if I'm working with young people, the reason was to bring the group down, to calm them down, and to bring the awareness that we have an inner world as well, not just an outer world, and not just the movement outside, but we have something inside, which is also important to respect. And very simple, for example, in dance for people with Parkinson's classes, I'm using some mudras, because this is something that it's very interesting in dance as an exercise for people who have maybe difficulties. So, but I have to say I'm not a therapist, so I'm always an artist. I'm never going into a class as a therapist and bringing something that somehow with an idea of helping to get the body better. For me, the dialogue is always like on one level. So I'm going into a class or in a dance room, and whoever is there is for me another artist. So this I decided once in my life, and I think dance therapy is very important, but I'm an artist 100%. I would like to talk a bit about performance, because this is something that is important for me in my work, because I'm thinking a lot about performance in life. So life is a performance itself for me, and I bring the performance on stage, which is maybe just like a culmination of a performance that we already do in life. And we perform in different situations differently in life, and we also perform cultural-wise differently. Performance is a word that is often used in yoga classes, which I really like, because we perform also the asanas, and I'm performing my maybe my ballet movements. Let me take ballet for today, because it's the closest to asana, because I was studying ballet, but I'm a contemporary dancer, and contemporary dance goes until the open body, where any movement is possible. But let me compare more to the ballet, because the ballet actually, which I've done so many years, was my daily asana maybe. And the performance in life is something that I try to bring as a choreographer on stage. So, or like observing the performance of life and bringing this on stage. So my background is also the German dance theater, which is about the human being on stage, more than just the dance as a show of technical skills. In yoga classes, we perform with our bodies, because this is the thing with this thing I'm in life. And this for me is very important to understand. So in the yoga class, we even talk about the performance of our organs, you know, not just about the body outside, but the liver, the heart has a certain point of performance. And this is something I'm working on. I'm working on performance. So what does it mean? Is if I have the awareness of my whole body, then I'm performing with a bigger awareness on stage, actually. So my body I'm incarnated into this world with my body. Let's call it like this. And I don't know where I'm coming from. I don't know where I'm going to. But this is the moment now, here on stage, which is the life, which is the world. And Shakespeare once said, all the world is a stage, and we are merely players. So this is my performance. And my body itself is also performing. And this, for me, I try to find the relation there, and I learned a lot from yoga there. If I'm going on stage, it's the same, actually, right? I'm going, this has a big secret. I'm entering the stage, and the public is asking, where does this person come from? Am I leaving? Where does this person is going to? And this is the same, like in life. I'm coming and I'm going. But in the moment I'm here, my life here in this world now is with this body. So, and that's why I think as a dancer and as a human being, I have to respect this body. And yoga helps, and the holistic view is helping. And if I am performing, for example, in dance on stage, there is a feeling of resonance. There is a feeling of resonance which goes, which is a connection with the audience, but also with space. We are talking a lot about space and dance, but this is just half of the thing for me. The other half is the resonance which goes inside. And then you have my body in between the two resonances, the world out and the world inside, like the blue and white here, and I'm in between. And if you experience this, if you feel this, then there is a feeling of maybe it's too big, eternity or something. Then it's something swinging inside of my body. my guru, maybe the big choreographer Susan Linke, which was often performing in India. It was my director and my guru. She always had that she needs this feeling of something is like shivering in her body. And there is maybe this fluidity, the fluidity from outside to inside. And with my performance and awareness of the inside, I perform completely different. And I can see that. I can see that when I work with young people, with young refugees, with young people from here or there. I see the moment when I have the feeling that a light was switched on in the body. It's not just a dance. It's not just fulfilling some kind of movements. Is a connection there from inside to outside. So yoga helps me actually in the class to bring an awareness of the body. So very often I start with yoga and I go into dance, or sometimes we even are performing the asanas with the music, or like the best asana to do this is maybe the Surya Namaskara, because this is like a little dance already for me. And with this, I bring an awareness into class, especially for the young people who come from the schools, from the, I don't know where, with all these ideas in the head, from the computers, and suddenly we slow down. We start with we take the break and then we slow down. And then we do a little meditation, maybe we do some asanas. And then I bring them into a state of mind which helps me a lot for the dance. And it also brings a respect to the bodies. And this is something that I try in all the classes, with the professionals, with the non-professionals, or now, for example, I'm working in Hamburg with actors in the Deutsches Schauspielhaus. And also with them, I start with a little movement class, and I start with some asanas and a bit of dance, or maybe I put a mantra, and we move something. And I think we forget this. We forget this maybe in our modern society. Maybe people start to think again, because we have been all at home for a very long time now, that yoga was helping me in that time, because we had this wonderful sentence here already. This is my home, right? I had my body, I still had it, and I did my yoga for myself every day. And it helped me a lot through this time. But also my dance, or the dance practice, can be a daily sadhana actually for me. So there is a big connection. But I think what we forgot, and maybe it was there before, maybe I close a bit with this because it's a big theme. The question is why I'm dancing. And if I'm working, for example, with people in Bangladesh who practice the classical dance form, there is no question why they dance. They dance for something that is bigger than themselves. And I think we have to be very careful in contemporary dance that I'm not just dancing to fulfill my ego, because this is, I think this is not enough. So we can, and I think the dance also here, maybe in this part of the world, had maybe once this connection that it's not just, I'm not going on stage because I think I'm so great. I'm looking for a connection inside, or a connection with something that is bigger than myself. And I think this we can take from yoga. And if I'm almost closing, if I'm taking my body, if I'm going back to the incarnation, so I'm incarnated into this world, the yoga helped me a lot to think about my anatomy, because if I'm going to the Western anatomy, to say it a bit simple, then I have my bones and my muscles, and if I'm going to the yoga anatomy, for example, I really tried to understand what all the different yoga, the koshas means actually. But I want to give you one example, and this is a research for now, and I'm talking about, for example, about the emotional body. If I'm working now with a partner in dance who is so wonderful on stage and so touching and so emotional, but it's not an emotion which comes from outside. This is not theater, it's not narrative, it's not put on top. It's the dance is so honest that the emotional body shines through. This is what I truly believe, and this is what I'm looking for, that the emotion that comes from a dancing body and that I can receive in the audience, I think we dancers, we are able not to take it in a narrative way, but to let shine something through, which we would call maybe in yoga the emotional body. So until here, so life as a performance, yoga as a performance, dance as a performance, maybe this for today. So thank you so much. I'm really deeply humbled, and yeah, I'm very much honored being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tomas Bürner. That was really nice, and thank you for giving us such a new perspective and sharing an overview on the commonalities that you talked upon for yoga and dance. And especially, I really appreciate that how you say that it's not teaching, but it's sharing. It was really it was a really powerful message to hear, and how you consider that dance practice like a sadhana, a daily sadhana. So I really appreciate that. Those were like some key take-home messages for me, and I think for the larger audiences as well.
Thank you.
So now we move on to our most awaited Q&A session, and I would like to have all these speakers unmuted and request them for your answers. So first question, may I request for Dr. Sonal Mansingh ji. So in many times during the session, we heard that the dancers are selfless and they forget about themselves, and they forget that they are tired. And I'm sure it's easier said than done, but how would you give a message to the younger generation that if they have to inculcate this habit, how they should start with it? Ma'am, you're on mute.
Hello, yeah, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you. I don't think a dancer forgets herself, because forgetfulness is not a required quality or attribute. I suppose what really happens is that it is like the edge of a sword. On one side is the objectivity, on one side is the subjectivity. And the dancer walks absolutely on the edge, because I'm talking now about the solo dancer, which I practiced and learned from the age of 7. And now I'm 77. And it has taught me so much. When I portray Radha, I do not become Radha. I portray Radha. But to portray Radha, I have to get inside that character, which is in my mind, in my creative imagination. The beauty of Indian dance tradition, I'm going a little bit away from yoga, but again, it goes to the yoga also, that what yoga means to Patanjali or to the rest of the Guru Parampara, or to the sadhaks who are practicing it as seriously, and those who are just doing yoga as an exercise or to keep fit. Now, there are so many more shades, but each one has a different perspective of yoga if you really ask them. Patanjali said this, okay. Your guru said this, okay. Finally, the experience is yours. The perspective is yours. And so it is with dance. So that is where I say dance and yoga meet also, that the objectivity of dance or the yoga and your subjectivity of how you view it, how you experience it, how you express it, with all the means at your disposal. So it is nothing, I think dance cannot be personalized according to me. We all have our own body, different body. Somebody's arms are long, short, all that is there, the physicality. But the physicality gets transcended. We transcend that physicality because we do not forget ourselves, but because we immerse ourselves in dance. I think these are all very, I don't want to, we have to demystify, not intellectualize. And I always feel that simplifying things and using simpler words go a longer way for self-understanding. Therefore, when you speak about it, maybe it is easier for people to understand also. And therefore, I say that one has to go beyond oneself, but also with oneself, because unless you experience yourself, you cannot share the experience. But as I said, in dance, I do not become Krishna, I do not become Radha, or I do not borrow Valmiki's Ram or Sita, I do not borrow Tulsidas' Sita. I create my own Mary Magdalene. I create my own environment, my own vibrations create that environment. I create that aura where people, the audience can be with me. Because after all, I must say that dance, see, yoga you can do in one room, in one place, your asana. Dance is dynamic yoga. It's dynamic yoga. Dance is a visual art. It's a chakshusha yajna. Yajna is the, the highest, it's not sacrifice really. It's the coming together of all the energies which are then raised above your human level. Chakshusha yajna. So audience has to see. It is not like music that you can close your eyes and enjoy music. Dance demands total absorption, immersion, but also total conscious effort of the dancer as well as the onlooker. It's a two-way traffic. Never forget that. And that's a big difference. We are talking about the similarities. Now I want to tell you this big difference, that dance has an audience. It's a visual art. Yoga is for yourself. Yoga can be done alone in any kind of environment. Dance also can be done in an environment for your self-expression, yes. But dance is really a visual art. And that is where I think, I hope I've answered the question. I'm not sure.
Yes, of course. I really didn't think about the dissimilarity, but of course, I totally agree that dance is a visual art and it has an audience. Totally. Thank you so much. Just before I go to the next speaker, I saw you, Mr. Sanjay Tambe, that you had unmuted your question. Okay, so probably I think later we could take up questions from the audiences. In the meantime, then we go to the other speaker. Yes, I would also like to ask a very similar question to Pandit Rajendra Gangani. So, Pandit Rajendra Gangani ji, आपने भी यही similar lines पे कहा था कि घंटों तक डांस करते हैं और तभी आपको थकावट महसूस होती है. आप कैसे वो करते हैं, आपको कैसे स्टेट पे आप कैसे जाते हैं, और आप यंगर जनरेशन जिनको ये डांस फॉर्म लेना, आप उनके लिए क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे?
जैसा मैंने कहा ना कि जब हम स्टेज पे जा रहे होते हैं और मंच को प्रणाम करते हैं तो ईश्वर को याद करके हम अपने जो सांस है वो एक तरीके से एक प्राणायाम वहां से प्रारंभ कर देते हैं और वो प्राणायाम वहां से प्रारंभ हो जाता है और धीरे 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 वो क्रिया की तरफ बढ़ता है। योग अपने आप में शुरू हो गया और वो जो गति हम लोग नृत्य में प्रारंभ करते हैं वो बिल्कुल ऐसे करते हैं जो शास्त्रीय नृत्य और संगीत दोनों में ही समाहित है। और योग में भी वही है कि वो धीरे 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 बढ़ते बढ़ते एक के बाद एक जुड़ता जाता है और वो जुड़ते जुड़ते आपको अपने आप से अलग करते हुए किसी और कहना चाहिए कि जगह ले जाता है। और वो जैसे कहते हैं ना समाधि तक पहुंचना, वो मुझे लगता है कि नृत्य करते 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 जो भी साधक हैं वो इतने उस साधना के साथ इतने साधक लीन हो जाते हैं कि उस अवस्था तक अपने आप को पहुंचा देते हैं और उस अवस्था में जाके उनको ऐसा नहीं लगता कि वो 3.5 घंटे से नाच रहे हैं और इतनी गति में भी नाचे और इतना, क्योंकि कथक में जितना फुटवर्क और चक्कर और तैयारी जो होती है कथक, हालांकि सभी नृत्य में समाहित है, वो ऐसा नहीं कि खाली कथक में, सभी नृत्य में तैयारी और शरीर का पूरा, शरीर की पूरी क्रियाएं जो है और अंग अंग, जैसे हमारे यहाँ कहते हैं अंग अंग नाचता है, खाली हाथ पैर नहीं नाच रहा, अंग अंग नाच रहा है। वो अंग जो चल रहा है उस अंग को कंट्रोल जो कर रहा है वो कोई अंदर एक ऐसा पावर है जो उसे पूरा कंट्रोल करता है। तो वह वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें भी साधना ही करते रहना होता है और फिर उसके बाद ऐसा नहीं लगता कि हम 4 घंटे नाचे और हम कहीं थकान 4 घंटे नाचे। और कभी तो ऐसा होता है, सोनाल दीदी भी जानती है, शोभना दीदी भी जानते हैं, रात को 3:30 बजे कहते हैं सोने की तरफ मंच पे अब प्रोग्राम है आपका, अब आपको अब शुरू करना है। इतनी जल्दी स्विच ऑन और स्विच ऑफ होना आसान नहीं होता, टू डिफिकल्ट कि आप तैयार होके बैठे हैं 11-12 बजे के करीब, आप मेकअप वेकअप कर रहे हैं और आप सोच रहे हैं कि अब हमारा आइटम या अब हम मंच पे जाने वाले हैं। वो प्रोसेस कभी कभी ऐसा हो जाता है कि लेट हो गया, लेकिन उस वक्त भी वो अंदर का एक जो पावर शुरू होता है अपने अंदर से, तो बुला देता है कि ये सोने का समय है या रात्रि का कौन सा प्रहर है। लेकिन वो योग माया, मैंने जो पहले बोला था, योग माया योग क्रिया दोनों मिलके उस चीज को करते हैं।
शुक्रिया, आप बिल्कुल सही कहा, ये एक प्रोसेस है पूरा और हम धीरे धीरे इसमें खुद को ढाल सकते हैं। एक अभी ही चैट पे क्वेश्चन आया है, there is one question on chat, probably this can be taken by more than one speaker. It is from a Kathak practitioner. The question is, for us living in modern world with many distractions and thoughts, how can we pull the discipline of meeting dance and yoga? I started learning Kathak 1.5 years ago out of pure interest in dance.
I think Deodatt experience share करो और उनको जवाब दो। देवदत्त प्रसाद।
Right. So to the individual asking that question about how to pull the discipline of dance and yoga, I think it starts with making the mind fixed on your goal. If you are fixed on achieving something, if you are desirous of attaining some progress in either the art or in yoga practices, you will first have to stabilize your mind. I know we are indeed living in a world where we are filled with distractions around every corner. And those definitely living here, practicing dance here, and as compared to India, it's two very different situations. So my response to that individual asking, Lakshmi, you will first have to focus your thought, find that discipline. That is why it's called a discipline. As I said, in my examination of the similarities, I pulled in the word discipline. That means you have to make a strict, conscious decision that you need to do this and achieve this. Only then you will be able to pull on the discipline of yoga and dance. It is the same for me. I live here where I see very less of dance. We're talking about Indian classical dance. And constantly, every single day, I will have to go with the intention, I need to get my riyaz done. I need to do my practice. And there is nothing else that will stop me from that. Once that goal is focused, you will definitely achieve that aim, that interest of pulling yourself together for yoga and dance. I hope that makes sense. It starts with the mind. Everything starts with the mind.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deodatt. I hope that has answered the question. Person, yeah. Okay, she says thank you. Great. So we move to one more question that we have for Guru, and this is about how dance improves. We heard a couple of times that for dancers also it is breathing. We forget how important breathing is and how dancers then manage and improve breathing. Guru Shovana Narayanji, are you there? Maybe if someone else would like to take the question, considering that many of the speakers touched upon the topic, maybe Pandit Rajendra Gangani ji, would आपको ये question आप लेना पसंद करेंगे? How does breathing, how dance improves?
जब आप नृत्य करते हैं ना, तो आप अगर एकाग्रत यानी सेंट्रलाइज योरसेल्फ और उसको डांस को क्रिया को आप ये सोचिए कि वो कौन सी स्पीड में वो डांस आप कर रहे हैं. सो प्राणायाम जो क्रिया है वो बहुत मदद करती है और उसको आप आवर्तन समझ लिए. आवर्तन इज वन सर्कल ऑफ द बीट्स, यानी 1 to 16 beats is a one circle. 1 to 10 beats is a one circle. Tal, any tal have a circle system. 1 to 14, 1 to 10, 1 to 16, any number. And but you should be remain in same speed. Just don't up, don't go fast, don't be slow. Remain same speed and उस स्पीड के साथ आप श्वास को कंट्रोल करें तो वो आपके डांस में जो है वो जो थकान हो या उस जैसे हम हाफ ऐसा पोजीशन आ जाती, बी काम एंड कूल और वो प्राणायाम विल सपोर्ट यू वेरी स्ट्रांगली सपोर्ट करेगा.
Thank you so much, Pandit Rajendra Gangani ji. So our next question is for Tomas Bürner. We heard a lot about the Indian traditional dances and connects to yoga, but we would now also like to hear about how the Western form of dance yoga, and what role does it play? How, like how Sonal Mansingh ji suggested some of the dissimilarities, similarities, probably you could touch from the other dance forms of Western style.
So you have to repeat one more time the last two sentences. For me, the connection is not so good. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to know what probably you could touch upon. What are the dissimilarities and similarities? We heard so much about the Indian dance form, the other dance from the other regions of the world, and how does it connect with yoga, or how not connect with it?
Okay, now I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. I think if we talk about the contemporary dance, we need a lot of time, because what is contemporary dance actually? This is like everything is possible in contemporary dance, and every form of movement is possible. So that's why I started with the ballet. So you can, it's so strict that the ballet technique that you do every day is like practicing asanas actually. And then after the ballet, maybe the modern dance form came, like the Graham technique. So there's a very strict formula of movement and of technique, and you can compare this, and this you can take as a daily sadhana. But if we go into the contemporary dance and also into the contemporary choreography, like any movement can become dance, you know. It's just it's how you frame the whole thing, and that's why I was talking about then. If we take the Bühnentanz, the stage dance in Germany or in Europe, it started with the classical ballet. It started in France in 16 something with the first king who was dancing very strict and the very strict formula. And now where we are now, it's the open body, like anything is possible. Sometimes just somebody is standing in front of a microphone and just says, what I'm doing is dancing. And because I'm believing this is dance, it is dance. So this is the range of movements on stage is so big in our time. So if I would start to compare or somehow to find a relation, I would start with a concrete technique from the different Western dance form. And you have many of them, and then you can maybe break it, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking up that question. So before we close the seminar, we have one last question for Sonal Mansingh ji. Could you please tell us that how sadhana can be continued in spite of there are so many now lazy behaviors that we see? How can we keep ourselves motivated to?
Oh dear. Self-motivation is the most difficult thing and the easiest also. And as I think all my colleague dancers have emphasized, that discipline of mind translates into discipline of the body. But then, as my Guruji always said, mind is a monkey, and you need a stick to discipline the monkey. So what is that stick? And the stick is with you, the monkey is in your mind, and that stick is the discipline, self-motivation. How to say it? I mean, you know, it's very easy to become lazy. It's like if sadhana or discipline was like a pill, I would like to swallow the pill and become self-motivated to do things properly. It's not a pill. You have to be hard with yourself. You have to cajole, persuade, talk to yourself. You have to love what you're doing. If you are feeling lazy, okay, laze around. But while you are lazing around, think that after having lazed around for an hour or two or a day or two, then what? And what have you achieved? So another thing that I have found is to set a goal post, set a goal, you know. And as they say, always when you are nearing the goal, push the goal post a little farther. I think, especially in these times, children have become lazy, sitting at home, doing online lessons or not doing online lessons, and watching a lot of television, watching a lot of YouTube. There's so much to indulge in. To withdraw from that and to draw yourself into something creative, something solid, something with yourself, something that you can do. Also, I think it's good to think of something new. If you have never tried your hand at painting, try sketching, try photography, try singing, try elocution, try telling stories, first to yourself and then with your family and friends, or make little videos of that and put that on your social media platform. Try creating something new with your body. Jump around, do something crazy. Look at the flowers or look at the sky with new eyes. Thank God, thank nature, thank whatever you believe in for that breath, again that yoga, that breath is still with you, that you are not dead of corona. I went through corona in April. It went into my lungs and I got it from a function from which I think half a dozen more people got it and one died. I was lucky that in time I was taken care of. And I came out of it. I felt very lazy and they said it's natural. Don't push yourself. Take it as it comes. Eat well. And do very little light things. Rest when you want to. And that kind of, talking to yourself, feeling yourself, looking at yourself with new eyes, looking at things with new eyes, trying new things, and keep motivating yourself that life is much larger than what you think. Life has so much to offer. Why should I not grab as much as I can from this life? I don't know whether I will be alive tomorrow or not. That's another thing which keeps me motivated. I'm alive talking to you now. Will you be surprised if tomorrow you get the news that Sonal Mansingh is no more? Do I have a guarantee that I will live through the night? No, no one has a guarantee. And it's good to remember that this life, this breath, which can leave you like that, is very fragile. Is there now, it's gone then. It's gone. Before you can, there's no appeal to that. It's gone, you're gone. So make the best of every moment. Motivate yourself. Push yourself if you have to. As I said, persuade, talk, do new things, and share. I've said that in the beginning also. Sharing, giving, doubles your joy. Your heart opens to new things, and new things, new energy comes to you. And that, I think, is all that life is about. So, lazy, okay, if you wish. Not my concern. It should be your own concern. Okay?
Of course, definitely. I'm really happy that this event is recorded. So when I'm lazy, I think I'll just tune into this and hear this 5 minutes talk from you and from the others. It is not only about yoga and dance, but also about a lot of motivation. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the speakers. And now I would like to request Dr. Rajesh Mishraji to provide his closing remarks.
CG sir, which is not here. CG sir is left because of some another engagement. Dr. Sonal Mansingh ma'am, I read about you when I was in class 10, 1988-89. I'm grateful to God that gave opportunity to you, and we can organize events, and which is motivational for us. Dr. Shovana Narayan ji, ma'am Shovana Narayan ji, we really miss you and hope in future we will again able to do something in Bremen, because Bremen has not forgotten you. Actually, this yoga and dance motivation organized to event comes from you actually. 1.5 hours continue dance. Say, ठीक है. I thought, wow, so much strong stamina. How? Even your breath, like people do 10 minutes Surya Namaskar, 5 rounds, 10 rounds, or 20 rounds Surya Namaskar, then breathing goes. Like, like anything. But 1.5 hours and nothing, not a breathing, single noise. Like same, I have seen the Deodatt performance also. It's really our blessing that we have the panel here. Dr. Rajendra Gangani ji is really our place that you are here. You are Deodatt ji Guru, you are our Guru. Our brother, so his Guru, our Guru. And so thank you to be with us. And बहुत अच्छा लगा आप यहाँ आए और
धन्यवाद.
बहुत अच्छा लगा. Deodatt ji, naturally, we remember our first India Fest and always we seek your guidance, and thank you very much. With Tomas Bürner, we are going to do one Indo-German dance event, and which is the event name is Sakti. And we are going to organize on 30th October. Center for Culture, Bremen. There will be this experiment like how Indian and classical dance contemporary can work together. This is the one research. And today I learned also from Thomas that how he integrate koshas with body dance. This is really great.
I just have one little question. May I?
Ma'am, please.
Is this happening from Bremen in Germany?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I visited and danced in Bremen in 1967, first time.
Wow.
Deutsche Indische Gesellschaft. And later I visited a couple of times more. Beautiful city. Okay,
yes.
Right.
Bremen is small, and if everything is fine, then definitely we will have your blessing here in definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you for joining this event. Blessings, motivation. Actually, the laziness question, even I'm the yoga teacher, but laziness question was from me. And I please ask. Sometime, okay, we will do next time, शाम को कर लेंगे, then okay, so चलो double कर लेंगे, है ना? So that was my questions. So thank you for guiding these things, and I will try that no more late. Just do that. Thank you, and thank you, Rajni. Beautiful moderation. Yeah. And we Shakti in Bremen organize a lot of Indian events, not only Indian, all the global events like Painting for Peace. We organize 33 countries, many another different communities, not only with German program, but with African communities, with Indonesians, with Bulgarian, So we do a lot of different events, and now we are going to start one diversity and sustainability talk, which will be happening twice a month, and with the Sim Hochschule Bremen. Thank you very much to be with us and to bless us. Actually, this is our great. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. We have one last vote of thanks from Mr. Gulshan Dhingra, Vice-Consul General, Consulate General of India, Hamburg. We request you, sir, to please provide your remarks.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rajni. Namaskar, good evening and guten Abend to all. Respected Consul General, sir, distinguished panelists, guests, and dear participants. It's indeed my pleasure to present a vote of thanks on the occasion of Yoga and Dance program as organized by Ms. Shaktya. Let me share that Dr. Mishra, as a yoga instructor and as the president of Shaktya, has been proactive in organizing wonderful events like this. Though we are gradually moving to physical events, but it seems that we'll have to carry on with online events like this for a while. Anyways, our special thanks to Honorable Member of Parliament, Dr. Sonal Mansingh, Mrs. Alamel Wali, though she could not make it today, Mrs. Shovana Narayan, and Pandit Rajendra Gangani, who all graced the occasion with their benign presence. It has been a privilege to come across all of your wonderful thoughts about yoga and dance, and particularly about motivational talks by Dr. Sonal Mansingh regarding that the mind is monkey and we need to control it with stick. That is discipline. I'm really impressed, ma'am. So we'll take note of that.
I've been practicing that myself, you know.
Yeah, we all need to practice, ma'am. It's very true. And we also extend our thanks to Mr. Sanjay Tambe, who has been associating with us on many occasions in the past, Mr. Deodatt Persaud, Mr. Thomas Bürner, and last but not the least, Dr. Rajni Nagrani for the wonderful and flawless moderation all through. And not to mention, it has always been a pleasure to come across together on a single platform, whatever be the occasion. And my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for being a part of the event. I wind up with this and wishing you all a wonderful evening. Stay healthy, stay fit, and stay connected. Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaste, Rajendra.
Namaskar, Didi, namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all. Thank you, Gulshan Dhingra ji, and thanks, Incredible India. It is great that we could all have this seminar. Thank you once again. I wish you a very nice weekend. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Rajesh ji.
Thank you so much, all of you.